Good morning, students. Welcome to the subject of Productions and Operations Management. We are dealing with unit number 3, Facility Layout, and this is the fourth session. It has been quite a long gap since the last lecture, so I would just like to repeat what we were doing and we have to do in the sessions to come. Students, we are dealing with the third unit of your syllabus, and that is facility layout, right? Facility layout is what I shall be telling you in the slides to come. Here few contents have been given to you, and on the basis of this content you can have a kind of the outline to what kind of questions can be asked as far as your exams are concerned, right? Here the contents are introduction, meaning, definitions, need for layout decisions, scope, objectives of ideal plant layout, importance of facility layout, layout planning, factors influencing layout planning, and up till here, that means the ninth point we have already dealt in the previous sessions. In this session we'll be taking few more. All right, here as you can see it, there are as many as 16 points to be dealt. All these points are important from the examination point of view. I repeat one more time that before starting or while listening to the lectures, while checking out with the PowerPoint, please see to it that you have at least a note before you, so that you can check out that in which stage of the unit we are and how far we have done, what do we know about what we have done, and what is to come in the unit, so that you can actually synchronize with whatever the sessions you are checking out and whatever the content of your syllabus is. So I wish that at least by now you should be having a kind of perfect notes before you, so that individual unit has its own explanation in it, and while having the note before you, you check out with the lectures, you can check out with the video sessions, so that it becomes very simple and easy for you to understand that where and at which point or what actually we are dealing. All right, now as I told you in the previous lecture, we have seen what is layout planning and factors influencing the layout planning. Let me repeat it for you one more time, because as I told you earlier also, there has been quite a long break since we have done our last lecture. Now let us just try to revise the meaning, which is almost clear to you by now. It's only that I am refreshing it for all of you all. What is plant layout? It means the arrangement of machines, equipments, and other facilities in such a way that leads to smooth, fastest, and cost-effective manufacturing of the goods. Now, in this session, we are going to see few more aspects of plant layout. Let me just revise the syllabus for you by the time we start with the next slide. Students, we are dealing with the subject of productions and operations management. The subject started with the introduction to what is production and what is say operations management, right? It started with all in the first lecture, and in the first unit. That means when we are manufacturing or producing goods, we use the word productions, and when we are serving the services or when we are creating the services, it is operations. That is a relative term. But in today's era, operation management is considered to be the wider term, because it includes automatic production into it, right? So that is what we have checked out in the first unit. So if a manufacturer wants to start with something or manufacturing of something, then at the initial stage he should know what to produce. That means what actually he wants to produce, whether he wants to go for tangible goods or he wants to go for intangible goods. Once that is clear, then the immediate second unit follows, that is said to be plant location. location means place, means if I am a manufacturer and if I want to produce something, then once I have decided that okay, I wish to produce this, then I have to immediately take a decision on where to produce. That means plant location is the answer to the very important question, where to produce, means where is supposed to be the place, where is supposed to be that particular site wherein I wish to produce as a manufacturer. When a management answers this question, it is said to be deciding on plant location. So that was the second unit that we have dealt, and this is the third unit that we are dealing. That means once the location is decided that okay, this will be the particular place where I am going to have my production setup done, the immediate question that I need to follow or I need to answer or the decision I need to take is on how I want to carry out with manufacturing, means which layout I am supposed to use or which kind of arrangement I have to do it in my factory or maybe in my plant or at my place of manufacturing, so that ultimately what I can have is I can have the smooth, the fastest and the cost effective manufacturing done. When I make such an arrangement wherein, see, in any of the manufacturing unit or maybe service sector, there cannot be a random kind of arrangement, or say there cannot be a randomized kind of manufacturing done. For proper and smooth manufacturing cycle, you need to have a very well methodical management or arrangement of the machineries or equipments that is a prime requirement. Why? Because if a manufacturing is not done in a proper method or with the proper arrangement, then it may be that the manufacturing may not be smooth as we wish to be, or it may not be fast, because in that case every now and then you have to arrange, you have to make the arrangement, you have to find out the equipments, you have to set the machines, and that really takes the longer manufacturing cycle. That means you cannot meet the orders. When you cannot meet the orders, it has the long term effect. That means the customers will not be satisfied, their orders are not met timely, and what will be the repercussion? It will be that they will not be your loyal customer, or they'll not come to you for the orders in future. That is why to have these long-term, smooth, fastest and cost-effective manufacturing, it is that pre-hand what manufacturer needs to do. He has to have his own proper setup. And why it is so important to learn here? Because there is not a kind of pre-arrangement done for every unit. Every unit is different in its own sense. One may be producing pen, the other man may be producing engineering product. Then in that sense, apni પાસે એવું કોઈ setup નથી which is said or which can be considered as a permanent setup and we can use it anytime, or there cannot be a proper performer for each one of them. It is depending completely on the requirement of a manufacturer, and that is why to have a proper layout according to the requirement, when we do that, when we make an arrangement for all these types of machines that we are using, maybe the equipments we may be using, whatever the facilities that we may be using, we should have a proper layout, proper arrangement, proper designing of all of them. And when we do this, it is said that we are taking up with proper plant layout. So what I have done in this couple of minutes is I have revised you with what we were doing. At the same time, I have also linked up the prior two units. Now let us go further with the next slide or the next topic. I repeat, if somebody asks you or if some term like plant layout comes before you, you should be absolutely clear with this simple meaning, that it is the arrangement of whatever facilities we may be using. It may be machines, it may be equipments, in such a way that it leads to smooth, fastest and cost effective manufacturing. This is what is known as plant layout. Now in this 10th topic, see, 9th was factors affecting plant layout. Here we are dealing with the 10th point, that is principles. Now when we talk about anything which is related to principles means they are a kind of guidelines, they are kind of ideal setup right? So if the principles are followed properly, then what happens is you can have the best result of plant layout done. And here we will be discussing few of such kind of principles. Now, why these principles are important? These principles are important to whom? It is important to manufacturer. In what sense it is important? If he follows this set of principles or these guidelines, then ultimately he can have the best plant layout, he can have the best output of this plant layout. So it is very important for each one of the manufacturer to follow this set of guidelines so as to make the work effective. Same principles, one by one we shall be seeing it. Even if you read the point or say maybe the heading, the internal part is very clear, it is very simple. The factors discussed in the previous chapter influence the choice of a or previous slides or maybe the previous session influence the choice of a particular type of layout. While accepting the selected layout, the layout engineer should be guided by certain principles. The layout selected in conformity with layout principles should be an ideal one, and these set of principles are as under. So if once the choice is done on what type of layout we are going to do, we'll be discussing type of layout in the further part of the lectures to come, right? Here what we are doing, that once the factors are decided that okay, these many factors we need to count or these many factors we need to consider, then immediate thing comes up is we have to also see the principles, that we will follow these principles, and if we follow these principles, what will be the result? The result would be that we get the smooth, the fast and the cost effective manufacturing. So here comes the series of principle number 1, that is of minimum travel. That means man and material should travel the shortest distance between the operations so as to avoid waste of labor, time and minimize the cost of material handling. Very, very important. While setting up the layout, you have to check out that the things that travel, what are the things that travel within the production operations or maybe the production process. It is the maximum of the materials and then the manpower that is actually manufacturing the goods. These two things travel in the manufacturing process, and the care has to be taken under this principle that these travel should be minimized. That means minimum transportation or minimum traveling should be there. It should be so handled, material should be so handled that material handling between one process to another is minimum. If we arrange something like one process or one stage is at the ground floor, the second stage is at the third floor, the third stage is at suppose second floor, and the fourth stage is at again the ground floor. If some arrangement like this is done, then that means you are traveling a lot between the stages, and that will lead to ultimate longer manufacturing cycle. So what is the first principle one must follow? It is the principle of minimum travel. There should be minimum travel of the materials and men. Number 2, principle of sequence. Principle of sequence means a methodical sequence or a series should be followed. Unnecessary things should not be there. Unnecessary breaking of the sequences should not be there, because that again leads to the longer procedure of production. Here we will try to understand this like this. Machinery and operations should be arranged in sequential order. The principle is best achieved in the product layout, and efforts should be made to have it adopted in the process layout also. The product layout and process layout we will study in the further part, but the sequence is to be followed. That means a proper channel is to be there, right? Number 1, then number 2, number 3, number 4. Why it is so important? Because if the sequence is not followed, there will be abnormal backtracking and forward tracking. That means once you go ahead, you come back, again you go ahead, again you come back, and this randomized kind of setup will lead to longer cycle, and that should be avoided. So that is principle of sequence. The third one that comes up is principle of usage. See, every time you may not expect to have a large space available for you to have the setup very spaciously arranged. In that sense, whatever the space is available, howsoever the space is available, the best utilization of this space has to be done. Every unit of available space should be effectively used, and this principle should receive top consideration in the towns and cities where land is very costly. We all know that land is quite costly in the city area then compared to the rural areas, right? We have seen this in the second unit. So, when the land is purchased or when the plant location is decided, it is very important that every inch of the space is utilized properly so that we are not wasting the space, and on the contrary, we are making the arrangement in the most suitable manner. That is principle of usage. Next comes up fourth is said to be principle of compactness. That means there should be harmonious fusion of all the relevant factors so that the final layout looks well integrated and compact. If you enter the house, I give you the simplest example. If you enter the house or if you enter some kind of someone's drawing room, and if it is arranged very well, everything that is required in a drawing room or in a sitting room has been so perfectly placed, then what we come to know, or what we can say, that everything is compact, everything is there and everything at its right place. So that is very important even in the factories where all the relevant factors are so very well arranged. It has a kind of harmonious look, and that gives a kind of compactness. So whatever is required is available also, and it looks neat and tidy also. So it is very important that this principle should be followed. The next in the series is number 5, principle of safety and satisfaction. The layout should contain built-in provision for safety for the workmen. It should be also planned on the basis of the comfort and convenience of the workmen so that they feel satisfied. That means the workmen, the people who are working on the machine, they should have enough safety. Their safety is at the priority. They should be satisfactorily working. The work culture or maybe the workplace is so neatly designed, well ventilated, everything is so very well placed. So what happens is they can work safely, they have no hindrances, or their life or their maybe anything is not at the stake. And what happens because of that, they can work very confidently and satisfactorily. So that is the 5th principle that should be followed while deciding the layout. Let us go to the next one. It is principle of flexibility. That means the layout should permit revision with the least difficulty and minimum cost. Very very important. The plant layout has to be proper also, at the same time it has to be flexible also. That means if the time demands, then it should permit, it should allow the arrangement to be changed with the minimum cost. That means if you need any kind of changes in the present arrangement, then it can be done very easily, very smoothly. It can be done at the minimum cost. So it has not to be rigid in nature, but it has to be flexible. Next and the last one, that is principle of minimum investment. The layout should result in the savings in the fixed capital investment, not by avoiding installation of necessary facilities, but by an intensive use of available facilities. That means with the minimum investment, we want the maximum result. How that can be earned? That can be earned not by avoiding whatever is necessary. That means if 5 machines are necessary and instead we install only 3 and we try to cut the investment, something like that is not expected. But whatever the facilities are there, when you can make it to the best, when you can utilize it to its best, that should be there. That is how with the minimum investment or whatever the available facilities are, we are coping up, and we are coping up with the best. And these are said to be the 7 such principles that tells us that while having the layout done, we should keep this consideration in mind. Alright, so that is the 10th point, principles of good layout. Here, if there are principles, the followed thing is the problem. There are definitely problems attached to the plant layout. If things are not easy, things are not that simple, there are so many problems of rearranging, maybe arranging for the first time. There may be so many kind of problems that may be faced, and these problems are mentioned here. Let us see it. It's not at all necessary that layout engineer deals with only new layout. That means layout problems of new facilities. Such problems are faced only once. However, he is mostly involved with problems related to the relayout of an existing process or an alteration in the existing arrangement. Some of the examples of relayout problems are as under. That means every time while you are having a new layout, there are problems. It's not necessary. Existing જે અત્યારે ચાલી રહેલું છે અથવા અત્યારે સેટઅપ કરેલું લેઆઉટ છે એના પણ ઘણી પ્રકારના પ્રોબ્લેમ્સ હોઈ શકે, and those problems we are going to deal here. It may be change in the design of the part. This calls for the change in the process and may require some alteration in the existing layout. Say if you are manufacturing a grinder machine, alright, grinding machine initially of your brand had 2 jars. Now you are introducing one more blade or one more jar to it. That means the new design is arranged, and if new design is to be taken up, naturally the process will change, and accordingly the layout will also differ. That is number 1 challenge. Number 2, layout change due to the change in the method of production. Suppose initially you were producing manually. That means the workers used to produce everything by their hand, and now you are introducing a new technology, and in that sense you will have to use the machines more. Then the method of production is changing. Naturally there will be change in the layout. The next is expansion in production capacity. Supposingly if a unit was beforehand producing say 100 units per day, now that the order has increased and the demand has increased, it needs to produce say 200 products per day. Then in that sense there is the change or expansion in the production capacity. Naturally this may be quite some kind of problem for the manufacturer. Next, the reverse of it, that is reduction in the production capacity. Now if the capacity of the say unit, that means the production capacity decreases, or intentionally it has been reduced, say from 200 units it has come to 50%, 100 units they produce every day, then what happens is there is reduction in the production, the capacity is not fully utilized, and there can be accordingly some kind of problems related to layout. Next, diversification, that is addition of a new product. See, diversification of the product or diversified product is a term we have been hearing quite often, right? You must have studied diversified products somewhere in marketing also. Means it is totally a new set of product which a company may not be producing earlier, or it may not be producing the related product. They are said to be totally diversified products. So if a company introduces diversified product, there may be change in the layout, and it's a big challenge or problem for the manufacturer. Next is planning a new facility or a new department. Initially suppose it was one department which was not at all introduced, and there was no requirement for it, and in that sense now that you are introducing a new facility or maybe a new department, then here you may require a lot many kind of changes, because altogether you are introducing a separate department for something, and that may ask or that may be posing a problem before the management or manufacturer. Next comes up is shifting a department. Suppose the whole department has to be shifted, say from one place to another, then in that sense in that case also it may be a problematic thing. The next is replacing equipment with advanced technology. Suppose the manufacturing unit was using say outdated or maybe the old technology. Now that the new technology or advanced technology is in the market, and the manufacturer plans that okay, I'll be using this advanced technology, then I'll have to replace, or that means the old equipments are to be replaced with the new ones. Maybe the old equipment occupied less space. Now that you are using advanced technology, it may require more place, then again it creates a problem of layout. So here we have checked out with the problems of layout. There are few more in practical sense. That means practically you may see that there may be much many problems than this, right? These are few to quote. That means once the unit is set up, there may be different kind of problems that or challenges that a manufacturer has to face. And when he is he is redesigning, he is putting up some kind of changes, then at that time also there may be lot many problems that he may have to face, and those problems we have checked out in the previous slide. Here along with the 11th point, we are going to also check with the 12th one that tells us marks of a good layout. Now if in this lecture we have seen that what kind of problems that may be there, and now what we are checking out are the marks. If good layout is there, then what are its conditions or what are its marks, and those marks we are seeing it now. Number one, straight line flow pattern. If the pattern of the production is straight line, that means everything is running smoothly from one process to the another one and to the next, and likewise, then at that time the adaptation, that means the changes becomes very easy to go, and it is the best kind of layout. Next, number two, what is the next mark of good layout? If you are having a good layout, it shows the backtracking kept to a minimum. That means backtracking means coming back to the same thing. Suppose if a product is produced, it moves from one stage to the second one to the third one, and after third one it again comes to one stage number one. Now again it is getting processed, and then it moves to the fourth one and fifth one, likewise again from the fifth one it comes up to the second one. If something like that happens, that means it is backtracking. So when you are putting up backtracking to its minimum, it is a sign of a good layout. Third one is production time predictable. When you know what is the production cycle, suppose if a product it gets produced in 25 minutes, you know that there won't be 27 minutes also, and it won't take 23 minutes also. So when the time of production is predictable, see, most of the time the production cycle and the time is decided that every 15 minutes one product will be produced, every 9.5 minutes production of one product is there. That means the production cycle is quite known, the time taken is quite known. When you know the time, you can exactly make the arrangement accordingly. Next, little interstage storage of materials. That means every now and then you don't have to keep it for say storing the material. That means suppose if you are manufacturing clay pots, right? Clay pots, once you make the clay pots, you have to even dry it, you have to even keep it for drying it, right? You have to even give the furnace. That means you have to maybe you have to burn it, or you have to keep it in the flame so that it becomes strong enough. If that thing is done, that means for a day you will not be able to touch it, will be kept on the fire, it will be then helped to cool, and then on the next day you may be painting it, and the third day may require a kind of again a dry up session. That means it is that little interstage is not there. Instead we have to wait for days or maybe hours together. So if some kind of, and by that time you have to even store those materials. So it is important that if the interstage storage is minimum, that leads to less use of space, and it's a sign of good layout. Fifth one is open plant floors, so everyone can see what is happening. The plant layout has to be arranged in such a pattern that there is open plant floors. That means you can see it from the above, what is happening, you can see it everything properly, everything is visible, and that helps to have a good supervision also. So open plant floors is a good part of or it is a good mark of good layout. The next one is the bottlenecks or operations should be avoided. That means there should be minimum bottlenecks. There care should be taken that the manufacturing is not congested. You have a different entry and exit of the materials or maybe manpower, and you make the arrangement in such a manner that we are not blocking the inflow and outflow of the materials. So when you do that, it's a sign of good layout. Next is workstation close together to avoid time consumption. Many a times it happens that production section is on one side, and from where do you get your raw materials or maybe the tools and equipments? They are situated at a far off place. That means if a factory is located in acres, then what happens is the department of the production is at one end of the factory, and maybe the storage is at the other end. Then at that time the workstations are not near to each other, and when you have such a kind of setup, what happens is there is wastage of time. So workstation should be so close together and so very well arranged by side, so that you can avoid consumption of time. That means there is minimum wastage of time. That was point number 7. Number 8, orderly handling and storage of materials. That means whatever storing of the material is there, whatever the material handling is done, it should be in order. Everything should be perfectly removed from its place, and it should be used also properly. So when you are handling it properly, when the storage of the material is done properly, what happens is it is a good sign. That means you are not hindering any kind of production. At the same time, the time is not being wasted, the material is not wasted, the manpower's effort is not getting wasted. In fact, they get to have the chance to work properly with the proper timing. So it is orderly handling and storage of material leads to, or it's a sign of good layout. Ninth one is no unnecessary rehandling of material. Every now and then you don't have to use the material. Every now and then if you keep it out of the shelf and again you place it on the shelf is a sheer wastage of time. So that should be unnecessary rehandling. Handling and rehandling, that means you are bringing it, again you are keeping it, again you are bringing it. If something like this happens, then it leads to wastage of time. The best example for handling rehandling is when see your mummy is doing kind of cooking. If she is cooking in the kitchen, she exactly knows that few of the spices will be required for the next hour up till she completes her cooking. So she is going to keep it there itself, and until she is done with all the types of work, she is not going to put it in the drawers. So the spices are there. That means every now and then if you keep on getting it back on the platform, then it's a wastage of time. So up till the work is done, or until the work is not complete, the cooking is not done, then till that time everything is lying at its own place, so that you don't have to rehandle the things every now and then. These are the simple types of examples through which what we are trying to prove is that we are trying to check it, that how it would be possible in manufacturing unit. The 10th and the last one is easily adjustable settings for changing working conditions. That means the setting should be so done that in the changing situation also, whether there is any kind, if there is any kind of change, then we can make it very easily. There are adjustable settings, we can adjust to the change very easily, and ultimately the goal is to have the smooth, the fastest and the cost effective kind of manufacturing. So that can be achieved, that is very important. So the adjustable setting should be there, flexibility should be there, the rigidity in the performance or maybe the production should be avoided or should not be there, because that will not allow us to have the adjustments being done. So these are some kinds of signs. If you get to see these 10 points, that shows that the plant layout is really very well arranged and everything is working properly. So these are the marks or signs of good layout. So here we are ending up with this 4th session of facility layout, right? When we meet next, we shall be checking few more other aspects. By that time, bye from this side. Take care and have a good day. Thank you.